Media is about a promise of personal transformation. Hi everybody, my name is Greg Crable. This is my daily podcast, Something I Learned Yesterday, in which I try to take one issue related to publishing and explain it in about 3 or 4 minutes. A recent episode of the People vs. Algorithms podcast, titled Chris Kimball Says Screw the Algorithm, provides some very timely and important lessons for publishers. You can skip to 6 minutes and 51 seconds if you're in a hurry with that podcast. Chris wanted to build a new kind of media business. He was publishing a magazine in the 1980s, and he found that he was competing with Conde Nast and those guys. The whole system was based on giving away the subscription to get eyeballs to sell to advertisers. And that, he felt, and I agree, undermines the value of the content. He relaunched his cooking magazine, I think it was Cooks Illustrated, as 32 black and white pages plus cover. It's called Milk Street. He thought black and white would make people feel that the content itself was more valuable. That is, you're not selling pretty pictures, you must be selling useful words. Brian Morrissey commented that stripping away all the frippery of media gave it more credibility and authenticity. Chris says at the heart of any successful media company is the idea that the subscriber will be personally transformed. Everybody, he says, wants to be somebody else. If you can help transform somebody, that's the highest perceived value you can offer. For his brand, if they transform the reader's cooking, they'll transform the reader. He'll be a happier, more confident person. Chris's brand goes beyond the magazine. They have a TV show on PBS, a store, cooking classes, and other things, books. Troy Young, another of the podcast hosts, says for most media companies that start on an e-commerce business, it will either be a rounding error or it will fail. But Chris got it right, and I think part of that is that they're not relying on content to sell the products. As Brian pointed out, when people are reading a recipe or an article, they're not in buying mode. That's a mistake many companies make. You need the content and the products to mesh, but don't expect your content to sell the products. Chris also said that the way to make money with e-commerce is to create and manufacture your own products. You need your cost of goods to be 20% or lower so you can afford advertising and still make a profit. Then the store becomes a top of funnel for membership. After someone has purchased some pepper and some knives, they might sign up for the magazine. Content doesn't act as a funnel to the product side of the business. They're two very separate businesses. But creating the content puts the company in touch with people and concepts that helps them to know what products to create. Chris also says a media company needs a point of view. In the context of cooking, it's not about having lots of recipes, it's about having the right recipes. In the social media world, that translates into the recipe or the cooking concept has to be intriguing and deliver a memorable story in about 60 seconds. Now, it's interesting, going back to the screw the algorithm thing, if you look at YouTube, you can see that everybody follows certain practices. For example, all the thumbnails have what Brian calls surprised guy face. But Chris says, forget the algorithm, do something different. You'll never survive in a Me Too environment because there are too many other options out there. You need to be different. The chances of being successful in a copycat environment are almost zero, he says. The last point I want to touch on fits with what I've been saying in my last couple of videos, which is that the volume of viewers has nothing to do with how many people are attached to your brand. That's what I meant when I said that the advertising model, where you pursue reach and volume, leads you down the wrong path. Anyway, it's a very good podcast. If you have the time, you should definitely listen to it. I'll provide a link below. And that's my thought for today. If you have any comments, put them in the comment section. Give me a call. Thanks so much for listening.